All right, my fellow Alaskans, let's talk. So Governor Dunleavy has used our emergency alert system to put out a notice about COVID. This is an absolute gross misuse and abuse of his power and his position as governor. That emergency alert system is supposed to be used for things that pose an imminent danger, whether that's a tsunami, whether that's a nuclear bomb that's going to go off, whatever it may be. But COVID, with a greater than 99% chance of survival, does not pose an imminent danger to you or me. The governor, again, continues to play into the fear-mongering with an alert that goes off mid-morning, scaring the crud out of some people, blowing up kids' phones as they're in the middle of trying to do a Zoom class so that he can give himself the political cover because he's going to extend his emergency powers. This is gross lack of leadership. Yes, people are going to get COVID. It's a virus. That's how a virus works. Of course, it's going to spread. And yes, your numbers are going to go up. The more you test, the more your numbers are going to go up. That's just the reality of it. We knew that when the state of Alaska said that they were going to increase testing. When the state of Alaska decided that they would be only one of a few, mind you, that mandate that you have a test before you come in or a test at the airport. Yes, we knew our numbers were going to go up. That's what happens when you test more. And now today, the governor says 3 weeks. He wants you to hunker down for 3 weeks. It's been 8 months, Governor. We were told 8 months ago that this was 2 weeks we needed to hunker down, that we needed to flatten a curve. There was no curve. Your chances of survival are greater than 99%. And yes, people are going to get sick. But your job, Governor, is to stand in front of Alaskans and to tell them, yes, you're going to get sick. Yes, our numbers are going to go up, but it's because we're testing more. And you know what? You're going to be okay. Here's what the average symptoms look like. Here's the average number of time that people get sick. Yes, you will have the few cases of people that died, not from COVID, but related to COVID or with COVID. The governor could be changing the narrative. He could be having the conversation about here's what the average symptoms are. Here's your average recovery time. And by the way, I just had someone tell me the other day their son had come down with COVID. And just a couple days after testing negative, he won a marathon. The kid ran a marathon and won. Why are we not talking about those stories? Those are the stories that we should be focusing on. And I will tell you, if you are scared about COVID, if you're genuinely terrified, Governor, if you are genuinely terrified about COVID, then let's take a trip back just a few short years ago and let's talk about our forefathers. You are asking us right now today to hunker down. Our kids haven't been able to go to school. Our churches are operating at minimum capacities. People are losing their businesses. I know more people that have lost their jobs or closed their business than I do people that have died from COVID. And yet those things are the very things that our forefathers came over here for. Our forefathers risked death, disease, viruses, famine when they came to America. Because the idea of that freedom of religion, the idea that you could work without an oppressive government, that American dream was of more value to them, of greater value to them, that they were willing to risk death and disease. Nearly 50% died on the Mayflower coming over here. They knew that they could die. They knew their chances of dying were significant. Nearly 50%. But they came. They risked all of it for the very things that now we're being told you need to give them up because you might get sick. No, our own forefathers, when the Constitution was being written, when the Bill of Rights was being drafted, they understood the risk that came from various sicknesses and diseases and things far better than we will probably ever appreciate or understand. Yet, when those documents were written, drafted, ratified, there was no caveat. There was no, well, if someone gets sick. They had their own friends and family that died, but those things were greater. And you know, for those that were scared, the Ann Zinks of the world and the Dunleavys, the Governor Dunleavys, and the Mayor Austin Quinn Davidson, the descendants of that type of mentality, those descendants, those generations, all these generations later, guess what? They don't live in America. They still live over under British control. They're still there. That is not the mentality that made this country great. It was not the fear that made this country great. And this Thanksgiving, there is no more appropriate time to reflect on that. This Thanksgiving, when the governor is asking you, Alaskans, can we hunker down? Can we change what we do this year? No, you need to go back to the mentality of that first Thanksgiving. You need to understand to what degree they valued that American dream, that American way of life, that they risked it. They took far greater risks than COVID is posing to any of us or has posed at all in the last 8 months. Reflect on that this Thanksgiving. And Alaskans, we have got to continue to stand tall. It's time to stand tall because our governor is not.